The show that we're doing right now.
Following the local teams, breaking down the biggest games with in-depth analysis and team interviews.
There's going to be much higher expectations, sense of awareness of what we bring to the table.
Join the show by calling into 435-752-1069 or text 435-339-0321. It's the Full Court Press.
Rose, answer. Yes! Caught! Touchdown! They did it!
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Eric Frandsen, Jason Walker here on the Full Court Press. 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, streaming on 1069thefan.com across the entire interwebs, and the 1069 The Fan mobile app that you can take wherever you are.
Did you just say interwebs out loud?
I did, intentionally.
That makes it worse.
No, not just interwebs, the interwebs.
Jeez. You know, I came into the office today and I saw some worrying signs that one of our coworkers got possessed by the ghost of an owl.
The ghost of an owl?
Yeah.
What did you see?
Just signs. I was worried. It's just I think it's one of our coworkers.
I don't really know what that means. Was he sleeping? Was he nodding his head?
I was worried. It's just one of our coworkers.
Possessed by an owl.
Yeah, possessed by an owl.
Okay, I'll have to ask you off the air what that means.
I was trying to pull a prank on you. That's what I was doing.
Oh.
Because you're supposed to say who.
Oh, I got you.
Dang it.
Who?
I know. Oh, I'm not as good at prank pulling as I thought I was.
I don't know. You got me pretty good on the old Rickroll a couple weeks ago. Utah Jazz, they played last night in Memphis. Now, we didn't have that game here on the Fan because of the Skyview High School game. But, the Jazz were shorthanded. No Lowry Markkanen. Colin Sexton only played a couple of minutes because he aggravated his hamstring. So I don't know if that's going to affect his ability in the really exciting, really important skills challenge later this week. But the Jazz were shorthanded against the Grizzlies in Memphis, played them pretty tough. But we did see for the first time Juan Toscano Anderson suit up and play for the Jazz. You also saw some Damian Jones as well. So saw these new Jazz players and trying to see if they're going to fit in with this team. So there were some new faces, but the Jazz today announced that one of the players for this team will no longer be with this team. They announced that they're going to be releasing or buying out Leandro Balmaro.
I think they're just waiving him.
Just waiving him?
He's got a low enough salary, you can just waive him. I mean, you still have to pay the salary, but you just don't worry about, you just waive him.
Yeah. Kind of a surprising move, to be honest. I thought that with Connolly gone, you're putting a lot on Sexton to be the point guard of this team, so that affects your depth. I actually thought that Balmaro might actually start to get into some of the rotation a little bit. But apparently, he's not cutting it in practice, and they don't see the future with him, and so they're letting him go.
Well, he's a guy that's in the NBA has wound up playing a lot more shooting guard, small forward, even though I think he came in, if I remember, with some
skill set's more of a point guard.
Yeah, but they've in lineups he's often ended up nominally a shooting guard, at least according to lineup data. I mean, what he actually does can sometimes be a bit different, but it seemed like maybe his point guard, which was something notable for him when he came into the league, despite being 6'6". It was something that was a bit notable about him, but just doesn't seem to have translated well enough. Didn't play very much with Minnesota. Wasn't playing with the Jazz. Didn't play last night, despite the fact he traded away Mike Conley. Colin Sexton doesn't play very much. And, I mean, even as a wing player, he couldn't get in with, Malik Beasley not being around anymore. And I think Rudy Gay was out, and Lowry Markkanen's out, and I think somebody else was probably out too. So he still couldn't get into the game? Like, at this point, yeah. I mean, it is a bit surprising that they would release him. Like, I'm not surprised that the Jazz wouldn't really have, don't really want Balmaro anymore. But the fact they released him, that's a little weird because, like, why? Why would you cut him? Might as well just keep him around. You need bodies on the roster.
Right. They've got holes that need to be filled, and now they've got even more holes. So he's gone. They traded away more players than they got back. And now also it's reports are that Utah is granting Russell Westbrook the opportunity to pursue opportunities elsewhere. I mean, we kind of thought that the Jazz would buy out Westbrook's contract, but it didn't happen initially. And then some of us were getting a little afraid, like, is he really going to play for the Jazz? This is like a scenario I never thought would ever play out. But it's now kind of evolving into that what we originally expected, where it looks like they are going to buy him out. But that usually only happens once he has a destination kind of already lined up.
Yeah, that's usually the deal because you don't want to get bought out and then be left out in the dark. So you want to have at least a guarantee that you can get somewhere. But then, of course, he has to actually negotiate the buyout with the Jazz. And for the Jazz, pretty much the only reason to buy him out, I mean, one reason would be to open up a roster spot, but the Jazz don't need to open up a roster spot. They've got two. They have two open roster spots. They don't need a third. Sometimes you try and open up roster spots to facilitate a trade. Well, the trade deadline's gone.
Yeah.
So the Jazz don't really have an incentive to buy out Russell Westbrook unless they want to, pander to agents, which is a thing that you have to do now because agents are snakes. But, so the thing with Russell Westbrook is the likelihood is he'll have to give up money because that's usually part of the buyout agreement is you get released from your contract early and the team just pays you a lump sum. Well, the incentive for the team is, okay, I'll pay you less, but I am going to pay, I don't know how much money is left on Russell Westbrook contract. If you have $10 million left for the season or something like that. And they say, all right, we'll just pay you $8 million right now. You go somewhere else.
Right.
Does Russell Westbrook want to give up $2 million in this hypothetical? Is it worth it? It is worth it for a lot of players to do that, to go somewhere else.
And to go somewhere where you have a chance to be on a competitive team.
Yeah.
Maybe a team that's going to be have an opportunity for a playoff run. And so there's the giving up a little bit of cash for the opportunity to play competitive basketball and play a meaningful role, where Utah's kind of made it clear, we want to develop our young guys. And you have to be willing to accept that and take a supportive role. You're not going to be a star. You're not going to get a lot of minutes because the way you play, you will take touches away from the guys that we want handling the ball. And that just is not going to be a scenario that really works in Utah with Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, and for Westbrook, it's a chance to, in playing potentially on a competitive team, going into the playoffs and showcasing value, that can get him another contract. So he could give up money, but wind up making more because of getting another contract. He's looking for one last 2-3 year contract, $30-40 million maybe. That's something he's going to try and earn. He wants to stay in the league and keep being a high-level player and getting a borderline high-level contract. $10 million a year isn't a super high level at this point, but still, he wants that one last contract because he's only going to get one more. He's into his 30s. You get one more good contract, and this is his chance to earn it. He's not getting it with the Jazz, so he's either going to have to take less money in a buyout, which I would hope that he's smart enough to do that for his sake. But yeah, the Jazz, their only incentive to buy him out is if they pay him less money and then just get him out of their hair.
Yeah, and he could go places like the Clippers. He could go back to Washington, potentially even Chicago or Brooklyn. Brooklyn's really looking for anything right now after jettisoning what they had before.
I don't even know what they're doing at this point. Are they just going to start tanking?
Yeah, it's really weird because they were the top 4 team in the Eastern Conference. Which the Eastern Conference is good.
And they can't tank this year. It's too late. And, of course, I don't even think they have their draft picks for the next few years. They have a lot of other people's draft picks now, but they don't have any of their own.
Yeah. Utah got one of them in the Royce O'Neal deal.
Yeah. I don't know if it'll end up being Philadelphia, because I think that's the one that's like best of, or I guess worst of.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Worst of Philly, Houston, and Brooklyn. I think it's going to wind up being Philadelphia, because I think they're slightly ahead of Brooklyn. And with the way things are now with Brooklyn, they're not exactly going to move up.
Yeah. But it kind of leaves the question open for Utah, like, what are you doing now? They are thin at the point guard position, though I think we're seeing more Talon Horton-Tucker, and we're probably going to see much more of him going forward as well. I mean, he played 32 minutes last night, and we're probably going to see more of him as an initiator. I mean, he led the team in assists last night. But if that Sexton hamstring injury is still going to be a problem, Utah, I mean, you're going to put everything on Talon Horton-Tucker? I think it's Jordan Clarkson to some degree, but he's a scorer. He's not a point guard, though that position is different now than it used to be. But the Jazz are thin at that rotation piece, and will I guess, go to 10-day contracts, try to find somebody else who's in the buyout market, because there aren't very many of those players that seem to fit with Utah needs right now.
Yeah, what they need is a point guard, just to put bodies out there at least. I mean, I was looking at a list of current free agents, and it wasn't encouraging. Like, half of them are like late 30-somethings that really shouldn't be in the league anymore. I mean, so names like Trevor Ariza, LaMarcus Aldridge, Carmelo Anthony. It's like, and I don't even know how up-to-date the list is. I don't remember those guys being on any teams this year. So,
well, Derrick Rose, he's way past his prime.
Yeah. I mean, the one name that, but granted, I just saw the name. I saw DJ Augustine. He's 35. I don't know what he's doing these days. He's a point guard. Maybe he's got a little bit more in him. Just somebody. But if you're not going that direction, in which you've signed some late 30-something that probably shouldn't be in the league anyway, you're going the other direction where you sign some 24-year-old G-leaguer who doesn't really deserve to be in the NBA either. But you don't have any options anymore. You're super thin at the position. Find somebody. And are they going to be better than Leandro Balmaro? Like, that's kind of why cutting Balmaro doesn't make sense, because he's at least a body. I never thought he was part of the Jazz future. I was never super high on him. But why cut him now? Unless Balmaro just wanted to be cut and wants to go maybe somewhere else, maybe start a career in Europe. That's the only way that makes sense. Because, yeah, now the Jazz are super thin. They don't have I know point guard can, as you said, can be a bit of a different position than it was, but you need ball handlers. And Jordan Clarkson, at least he's a ball handler. He's having a career high in assists because he's doing a little bit more ball handling and passing. And Colin Sexton, I know he's not Mike Conley, but at least he's a ball handler, and he can, do things, initiate offense, be that guy that'll pass the ball around, bring it up, run the actions, pick and roll, and all that. You need those guys. Utah is quickly running out of them.
Right. Part of what made Lauri Markkanen an all-star is because of good point guard play, finding him in the right positions, because he's not a guy that's going to necessarily just go one-on-one with people and just try to break it down and score all the time. He's an off-the-ball kind of an athlete. He's improved. He's doing more than what he used to do. But a big reason why he's an all-star caliber player is because he had good guard play that knew how to distribute the ball properly when he was in the right place at the right time. A couple of texts coming through. Apologize, some of these were getting a little slow in getting to. But getting to those on our Full Court Press text line, 435-339-0321, for those who want to chime in. 8968. I would say San Jose State is playing as well as anyone in the league at this point. Yeah, we're talking about the Mountain West standings. And, yeah, the Spartans, they're moving up. They've been steadily climbing the ladder, and they've moved ahead of New Mexico. They're in the 5th place, just right behind the Utah State Aggies.
And they're a team that could maybe, if you're looking at, I don't know if surprise semifinals, because they'd only have to win one game, and that would be against Utah State, which is certainly possible. They've done it once already. you could maybe say surprise finals appearance, but then they'd have to beat San Diego State. That really would be a surprise. But if you're playing your best basketball, it's always possible. And when you got a star like Omari Moore, anything's possible. They're a team that's looking like, they have an expectation of themselves making it to the semifinals at the very least.
Yeah. I've said this before. Miles is a really good coach. And he's getting a lot out of those guys that not very many people gave much credence that they would do much.
It's because it's San Jose State, that's why.
Yes. There's reasons we haven't done that.
It used to be that losing to San Jose State would get you fired.
Yes, that's happened in the past. 9315 texting in, what records does JC still have at USU?
I think he holds like double-digit number of records. I think I counted them. I didn't write it down exactly. In the podcast, I mentioned several of them. I think he has like 11 or 12, maybe 13. Because I think it's 8 career records, including points, three-pointers made, three-pointers attempted, starts and minutes. I think I named off, 6 of them? There might be a couple others that are maybe kind of random. I think 10-point games might be one of them. Or does Wayne Estes have that one? I don't know. But then he has a couple single-season records, the single-season three-pointers. He's tied for three-point attempts with Sam Merrill. And then he has a handful of single-game records, three-pointers made in a single game, and then kind of a random one, free throws made without a miss. He made 15.
Wow.
Went 15 for 15 one night.
When we spoke to him, the record he seemed to be most proud of was minutes played.
Yeah. Very, very proud of that. And it doesn't seem like there are many people who have a chance to catch him. And then we talked about Stephen Ashworth having a chance to catch some of his career records. We didn't talk about it on the podcast, but I know we're talking off the air. He wasn't too chuffed about that.
No, mostly just because of the COVID year that players get extra time to chase some of these records.
He's not salty that somebody can.
No, he's not salty against Stephen Ashworth. It's just the COVID.
It's just the
extra years, extra time.
That's one thing I've said. Like with a lot of these smaller programs, if they happen to have, the stars kind of have to align. But if you happen to have, like say, a J.C. Carroll, that special player who stays 4 years, they'd have a chance to set this, functionally unbreakable records. That, kind of like some records in baseball that are just functionally the way that things work, you cannot break them. And I don't think Utah State's really going to have any of those because I don't think the stars align for any of their programs in that sense. But there is maybe one record that could go down. It depends if Stephen Ashworth, if he stays around, he might have a chance to break a three-pointer record.
A couple more texts coming through. 4781. Jazz coming back without Lowry and basically Sexton was hilarious. It was basically a big suck it Morant, since he's fine in the West. I project first round exit for those Grizzlies, and Kelly Olynyk played very well last night too. It was a big game for Olynyk.
It was funny because Memphis, they brought out a little bit of, the kind of taunting that team accounts are now doing. They did something where, here's an L for the Jazz. It was like, yeah, you beat a team that traded away Mike Conley. It's without its all-star. Lost its other starting point guard 4 minutes into the game. And, again, more people out. You beat them by, 6. Good job.
Yeah, Olynyk.
Top team in the West, right?
Yeah. 28 points for Olynyk. 14 rebounds, 6 assists. He did have 6 turnovers. But really solid game from him. Jordan Clarkson, 20 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. 1 block. How about that? But, Talon Horton-Tucker off the bench. For the new guys, Juan Toscano Anderson in 25 minutes gave the Jazz 7 points and 10 rebounds, very active on the boards, an assist and a steal. And Damian Jones in only 8 minutes got 7 points with a couple of rebounds and 2 blocks. So we've been waiting to see what these new guys would look like in these Jazz unis. And, decent, nice contributions off the bench. And it's one of the things that this Jazz team kind of lacks is a solid small forward. And Juan Toscano Anderson, I'm not saying that he is a solid small forward now, but he has opportunity to mold into that. He's had moments where he's had big, impactful stretches for Golden State and for the Lakers. Maybe he has an opportunity to continue to work on that in a Jazz system that is giving young players more opportunity.
Does 29 count as young?
Well, I guess he's not that young anymore. He's been around the league a little bit, but
he's only been in the league like 5 seasons, but he's 29. So he's young and hard.
Young in NBA years.
Young and yeah. He doesn't have as many miles as most 29-year-olds do.
Yeah, but in Golden State, I mean, there were big-time stars who were on the team that took the minutes, took the time, took the attention. He goes to Los Angeles, he's there with big-time stars who take the minutes, take the attention. Now he's in Utah where they don't have big-time stars. And so he's going to have some more opportunity to be developed, get some rotation minutes, and work on his craft.
Yeah, so he can maybe develop into something. Rotation player. I don't know if he's going to get 25 minutes every night. I think that was a bit of a function of some guys being out. But 15 to 20 minutes the rest of the way may not be all that unrealistic for him. So he could get some minutes. I don't know if he sticks around with the Jazz. I don't know. Does his contract go through next year? I think he has a player option next year, actually.
I think that for the Lakers, LeBron, Davis, and Beverly, I think those were the only guys who had contracts that went beyond this year.
Okay.
Everybody else was on like a 1-year deal or an expiring contract.
Yeah, so he's probably not staying on the Jazz beyond this year. Like I said, you need bodies out there. You need somebody to go out there and play. And who knows, if he turns out to be good, maybe you re-sign him, keep him on. If he's a valuable player, try and keep him.
Yeah.
Of course, if he turns out to be a valuable player, then he probably goes somewhere else. That's probably how it would go.
So Utah is off. They don't have any other games until next week. There are a few games in the NBA tonight before everything gets going on Friday for the All-Star festivities in Salt Lake City. I've heard of people just kind of hanging around Salt Lake International Airport as celebrities and former players and others are coming into town for the festivities. And they're just kind of hanging out, see who they see, grabbing autographs. Yeah. And not a bad place to hang out. If you can't afford to go pay for all the other festivities that are going on, just go hang out at the Salt Lake International Airport tomorrow.
Like 95% of people can't afford to go to the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad thing. If you're into these celebrities, yeah, that's not a bad thing to spend a day doing. I saw someone on Twitter said, I think Antonio Brown's coming to Salt Lake City, apparently, for the All-Star game.
Okay.
I don't know why on earth you would do that.
You get a bunch of random people who show up to these things.
Like you just say random people.
Well, former athletes, current athletes of other sports.
Because at this point, Antonio Brown is kind of irrelevant unless he does something else stupid.
Yes. Maybe that's why he's in town.
I do not need to see Antonio Brown running onto the court without a shirt.
Weird stuff.
Or maybe I do. I don't know. That would probably be more exciting than the dunk contest.
Considering the participants, maybe.
Though
I guess Mac McClung won some dunk contest in high school.
Yeah, he is a good dunker. I do need to apologize because I said he'd never dunked in the NBA. Turns out my information in that regard was wrong because he actually does have one dunk in an NBA game.
One. Wow, sign him up for the dunk contest then.
He actually is kind of a good dunker, though. I mean, for a guy who's like 6'2", 6'3", he's not a bad dunker. But he's not one of the best dunkers.
No, the NBA is trying a little too hard to force people.
They're not trying hard enough to get people in the dunk contest.
No. They're trying too hard to force people to pay attention to the G League. I mean, we have several G League participants in the All-Star Weekend. This is All-Star Weekend for the NBA. This isn't That has nothing to do with what's going on in the G League. They have their own moments, their own time to do that.
Okay, but I think
if they're a great G League athlete and a great performer, they will make it into the NBA.
See, I don't necessarily have a problem with having like a G League because I think there's like games involving the G League in All-Star, and there's G League players maybe in a skills. I think there's
they're having their own kind of an All-Star game. I think it's at the Huntsman Center.
Yeah, but I think there's I think Scoot Henderson's in like the Rising Star game. Like that's fine. I'm perfectly fine with that. And if they send a G Leaguer to the skills challenge, sure. Dunk contest, like there's the holy trinity of All-Star Weekend, the game, the 3-point contest, and the dunk contest. That's what I want as far as the best and the greatest. And the dunk contest is like a couple of like a rotation guy in Trey Murphy, a G Leaguer in Mac McClung, kind of fringe rotation guy in Jericho Sims. Granted, I've said before, he actually kind of does belong because dunking, like I said, he touches the sky.
Right.
He's like, it was like when Jeremy Evans, we all knew he could dunk, but nobody knew who he was. And then a guy who was like the 58th pick in the draft a couple years back, KJ Martin. So yeah, all these guys can dunk. But where are the good dunkers?
I know. So are they all turning them down, or are they just trying to mix it up and provide opportunities for those young up-and-comers?
It's everyone turning it down because there's no way the NBA thought, who do we want in the dunk contest? Ah, yes, the guy the Phillies, the 76ers just signed on a two-way deal. That guy. That's the guy we want. Sure.
We got to take a time out here in the Full Court Press. More on this. We got some more texts coming through. We'll get to those. We got Pick 6 coming up a little bit later on as well. The 6 things we think will happen this weekend. It's all coming up here on the Full Court Press.
This year, celebrate your anniversary with diamond jewelry from S.E. Needham Jewelers. Adorned in diamonds, she will feel elegant and cherished. Choose from a large selection of diamond bands, diamond pendants, and diamond earrings. Also, you'll enjoy a beautiful selection of diamonds mounted in rose gold. We price our diamond jewelry with an integrity price guarantee so that you can be assured the best possible value. With 12 months interest-free financing available. For the people and occasions that matter most. S.E. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
Schreiber Foods in Logan is hiring overnight technicians for maintenance and energy systems. People who can repair, troubleshoot, and perform preventative maintenance on a variety of automated equipment. You'll also have the opportunity to participate in their upcoming expansion projects. Energy systems technicians at Schreiber Foods work with ammonia systems, boilers, and refrigeration. Schreiber Foods doesn't just invest in equipment, they invest in their employees too. Enjoy an 8% 401k match, an employee stock ownership plan, an on-site health and wellness clinic. Apply online at schreiberfoods.com/careers. Equal opportunity employer.
As a small business, achieving your financial goals and ambitions can be a steep and rocky mountain to climb. This is Brent Wallace of Cache Valley Bank. To conquer this mountain and achieve your goals, it takes planning, hard work, and discipline. At Cache Valley Bank, we have the resources, expertise, and flexibility to help you scale your way to success. Give us a call. Let's work together and climb the mountains that await. Cache Valley Bank, member FDIC.
Let's talk about getting your car registered. What a pain! With registration and emissions, it takes hours. Valvoline Instant Oil Change in Logan, across from Angie's, will take that pain away. Stop in to get your oil changed and have the emissions test done. Then re-register your car. It's that easy, all in one stop. The best thing? You can stay in your car while their trained pros service your vehicle. Valvoline Instant Oil Change, 695 North Main, open 7 days a week.
This is Jeff John, head golf professional at Logan River Golf Course. It's time once again for our Valentine's and President's Day sale.
The golf shop will be open from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday.
We'll have all our passes on sale, including half passes, as well as great saving on all our men's and women's clothing, shoes, and headwear in stock. For any combined purchase of $75 or more, you will receive a voucher for a free 9 holes of golf anytime this summer. Logan River Golf Course. Play well, play fair, play fast.
The Full Court Press. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and online at 1069thefan.com.
Welcome back to the Full Court Press. Eric Frandsen, Jason Walker. A couple of your texts coming through. Let's get to those on 435-339-0321. 7854 texting in. Westbrook needs to go to Taiwan with Dwight Howard and Patrick Beverly. Well, I don't think Patrick Beverly's there. Dwight Howard is.
Yeah, Dwight Howard plays for a Taiwanese team.
Beverly just got traded and I think bought out, but isn't he going somewhere else? Has it already been decided?
I've not seen any reports. I just saw that I think his buyout had been reported. I think, rumors, I think said the rumors that the Bulls may have talked to Patrick Beverly. But nothing official.
Well, maybe he'll end up in Taiwan before it's all said and done.
That's where he belongs.
3714. Feature on JC in the Tribune online right now talks about the NCAA coming out with the top 3-point shooters in the last decade, and he was number 1.
There was an SI article. I know that's one place where I don't think the NCAA's had anything official. Maybe they did. But it was somebody who did a statistical analysis a while back. And I want to say it was Sports Illustrated. It may not have been. But it was written in like 2016 or 2017, I want to say. It's been a few years. But J.C. Carroll he was considered the top 3-point shooter in collegiate basketball history. Or maybe I think he might have only gone back into the 90s, I'm not sure. But the 3-point line in college has only been around since like the late 80s. So, J.C. Carroll, very likely the best 3-point shooter we've ever seen in collegiate basketball. Even by objective measurements.
Yes. This is just showing me for this season. I know there's I'm trying to find it for NCAA statistics overall.
A career 3-point percentage, J.C. Carroll does not hold that record.
No, percentage, no. But right now, Stephen Ashworth, he's 9th in the country in 3-point field goals made. But again, this is as of this season.
I take time to complain about the NCAA 3-point leaderboards. In order to qualify for the 3-point leaderboard, you know what it is? Well, at least one of the there's a like minutes played requirement. I think you have to play like 3/4 of your team's games.
Yeah.
One of the requirements is you have to make 2 3-pointers a game. And so in the Mountain West, oftentimes if you look at the Mountain West leaderboards, like who qualifies, there's not very many people. Like let me look up who's actually qualified for the 3-point leaderboard. The best 3-point shooters in the conference. Let's see, where is it? Like 3-point percentage. I suddenly can't find it. I can find 3-point field goals and 3-point attempts. Oh, there it is. There are 3 people in the Mountain West that qualify just to be on the leaderboard. Because you have to make 2 threes per game.
On average.
Yeah, on average. If you're an average 3-point shooter, around 30, I think 32 or 34% might be the men's average. Like at that percentage, you would have to take like 7 or 8 threes per game. Most people don't do that. Like in the NBA, it's just like there's kind of a minimum attempts, I think. But in college, you have to make 2 threes per game. So there are officially 3 people in the Mountain West who qualify for the NCAA 3-point percentage leaderboard. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's kind of nuts. A couple more texts coming through. 8968. 29 sounds young to me. I'm talking about Juan Toscano Anderson.
I made fun of him being not that old. I'm 29.
Well,
that's how old I am.
It's hard to call him a veteran in the NBA.
He's Played like 4 years.
He's been around a little bit.
He ain't no rookie.
No, that's true.
He ain't Ben Simmons.
435-339-0321. Just a little teaser. We've been talking about this really fun interview we had with J.C. Carroll, getting his number placed in the rafters. I keep struggling on how to say this because I want to
say his jersey's being honored.
Honored, thank you. Because I can't say retired because people can still wear that number.
Somebody is wearing that number.
Yeah, currently, yeah. But long, great conversation with JC about chasing some of these records and what's going to be taking place on Saturday with that on the Light the A podcast. We had a great conversation with Stephen Ashworth just this week. Really interesting stuff from him about choosing to come to Utah State despite an opportunity to go to a very notable program with a very notable coach. He turned that down. The potential to beat J.C. Carroll's record, at least one of his records. So that's a really interesting interview that we'll be sharing with you soon. We caught up with Ty Wesley, another Aggie great. So we've got the podcast that's highlighting the other jerseys that are up there with some background on who those players were. And we got a ton of content coming out here soon on the Light the A podcast.
And it's apparently the Light the A men's basketball podcast. Because, I didn't do this intentionally. Because we wanted to reach out to JC, and then we managed to also just reach out to Ty Wesley. And then I had an idea for I wanted to talk to Stephen Ashworth. We decided to make a podcast out of it. And then there was this whole jersey retirement thing, because after I'd written the article, I wanted to talk to Al Lewis about it. And we made that into a podcast. And I've been wanting to do some of these kind of history-type podcasts, not just interviews for the podcast. And so we're going to have 4 or 5 straight podcasts in a row. Of course, mind you, I've already reached out for other athletes in other sports. So we will get some other sports.
Yes, we are trying. We are making efforts.
Yeah. So we're going to have some other athletes on. I'm going to reach out and try and do stuff with softball, gymnastics, even the golf team. I noticed one of the members in the golf team is from my hometown, so I know I'm who I'm going to ask for.
Nice. So
look forward to all that. We'll be having, since a lot of these spring sports have started or kind of spring or late winter sports have been getting going, want to get a chance to talk to these athletes. So we're not just, because the Light the A podcast, the point of it, a big point of it was to be able to highlight a lot of these other sports. Obviously, when we have a chance to talk with guys like Rod Tueller and J.C. Carroll and Ty Wesley, we're going to talk to them. But we also had a chance to talk to John Eccles of the hockey team. We talked to the gymnastics coach and, other players as well.
Yeah, former great soccer player.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there will be more. There will be. Stay tuned. But it's we're in the height of the basketball season right now, and so we certainly want to make sure we highlight and give opportunities because it's really significant stuff. It's not every day that a player gets their jersey retired, and there are other notable people that are part of that journey and connected to that to some degree, and so we wanted to make sure we provide lots of opportunities to learn more about that great era of Utah State basketball, but also current that are chasing some of those record-setting performances. So stay tuned for that. We'll probably be giving you some sneak previews as well over the next few days, or play segments of those here on the Full Court Press. But as always, you can go to 1069thefan.com, go to our podcast section, and see and look for the Light the A podcasts that we've done. Those are on our website and on our mobile app for those who want to go listen to some bonus audio and much more to come. We're going to take a quick time out here in the Full Court Press. When we come back, let's try to predict what we think is going to happen this weekend. Pick 6. We invite you to play along as well. The 6 things we think will happen this weekend. Coming up next here on the Full Court Press.
Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat is locally owned and operated inside the beautiful new Three Peaks Medical Plaza in North Logan. Expect the most cutting-edge techniques, qualified doctors, and friendly staff to ensure the highest quality patient care. The ENT providers have extensive training to properly treat ear, nose, and throat conditions for adults and children. Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat serves all of northern Utah and southern Idaho, accepting most insurance products including SelectMed. Go to CacheValleyENT.com for appointments and details. Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, located in North Logan and Providence.
This is your Mountain West basketball update with Nate Kreckman.
A slugfest Wednesday night at the Save Mart Center, and number 21 San Diego State survives a tough one at Fresno State.
Lamont will give it back. Nathan away from the basket with a handoff. Bradley for three. Good!
The great Ted Leitner on San Diego Sports 760. Matt Bradley, the only Aztec in double figures in a 45-43 win. Brian Dutcher's squad 21-5 with a 12-2 league record to sit atop the Mountain West with 2 weeks to go until the conference tournament in Las Vegas. The other Wednesday final, talk again about surviving on the road. Boise State 80-78 over Colorado State in Fort Collins for win number 20 on the season. Tuesday, Utah State needing a win following back-to-back losses. And the junior from Ukraine, Max Shulga, puts the Aggies on his back against Air Force.
Comes around the screen, steps back, will take the three. Yes! He can't miss tonight. Max Shulga, 29 points.
Scott Gerard from Learfield, the 29 points, a career high for Shulga. Utah State rolls 80-65. San Jose State stays hot Tuesday night in Las Vegas as Trey Anderson matches a season-high 19 points in a 75-66 win over UNLV.
Kick out to Trey, another three from Anderson. That's good! His fourth three of the first half. He's got 14 points.
Justin Allegri from Learfield. Spartans 3-1 over their last four. They've jumped New Mexico for 5th place in the Mountain West. The Lobo struggles continue with a 70-56 home loss to shorthanded Wyoming Tuesday night. Hunter Maldonado, 20 points, 10 boards, 5 assists to pace the Cowboys. On the women's side, UNLV back in the AP Top 25 for the first time since 1994. Lindy LaRocque's Lady Rebels 24-2, the 23rd ranked team in the country. And that's your Mountain West basketball update. I'm Nate Kreckman.
Attention all high school sports fans. The season is nearly over with the playoffs right around the corner. You can still relive all the excitement on CacheValleyDaily.com. Our live broadcasts of all the exciting high school games are archived and available for you to rewatch at any time. Catch all the action as it happens live, or go back and watch those great games all over again. Don't miss a single play. Follow your favorite teams and players as they battle it out on the court. Grab your snacks, sit back, and enjoy the game with CacheValleyDaily.com.
Les Olson IT's structured cabling is second to none. Tired of old and inefficient cabling? Have an upgrade or remodel planned? Building a new network from the ground up? We offer the very best in low-voltage cabling installation, including data, phone, fiber optic, and more. Ask us how to get your free consultation today.
Les Olson IT.
Talking the sports you care about. The Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Welcome back to the Full Court Press. Eric Frandsen, Jason Walker. 435-339-0321 if you want to chime in on the Full Court Press text line. As we've been talking a little bit more about the Utah Jazz this hour, certain moves that they made. Leandro Balmaro is gone. We got to see Juan Toscano Anderson and Damian Jones for the first time in Jazz uniforms. Jazz likely to buy out Russell Westbrook. They'll need to fill some roster spots. So do they?
And they don't need to.
Well,
they have to have a minimum of 12.
Yeah.
Which I think they do even if they buy out Westbrook.
But Colin Sexton hurt his leg or re-aggravated his hamstring a little bit.
What is it with Jazz and having hamstring injuries with their point guards?
Yeah, it's not good. So I wouldn't be surprised if Utah went out and got some guys. I don't know if in the buyout market or just 10-day contracts.
They should have signed Mac McClung.
Maybe he's still available.
I think he just did a two-way with the 76ers or something. He's recently signed something with somebody.
Oh, it's probably true.
But I don't know. Go find some promising guy in the G League. call up your two-way guys. Granted, I think both of them are forwards, or at least wings. Johnny Juzing's kind of a shooting guard, small forward type, but you need a point guard. You need somebody who can handle the ball.
Yeah.
Granted, McClung's still more of a shooting guard archetype. He's just a little shorter. Kind of like a Talon Horton-Tucker-esque athletic shorter two-guard. But I don't know.
So they have until March 1st to sign somebody to be eligible for your playoff roster.
I'm not really worried about whoever they sign being eligible for the playoffs because they're going to be far enough down the rotation that it don't matter. But sign somebody. I mean, I guess they don't have to, but again, it just for the health of your players, man.
Yeah.
Like, get a point guard in there. Because that's the thing, sure, the roster they had, before Sexton going, like, if Sexton's out for a while, that's what you're worried about. Because, okay, you have enough players, nominally speaking, but what happens when things aren't going perfectly right? It's like what happened to Utah State. I mean, I guess right now they are kind of functioning. With Ryland Jones out, they had enough to weather that first hit. What about a second hit? The Jazz had their first hit of trading away their point guard and a couple of other guards. Now they're down to their reserves. What happens when the reserves go down? You need somebody.
Yeah. It's getting a little thin. Very, very thin.
It's like when quarterbacks, when their starter gets injured, they sign a third quarterback because they're usually only carrying two quarterbacks. They sign another one because they have a reserve for a reason, but then they need another reserve. So I think the Jazz would want to sign somebody. It may, and we talked about this right after the trade deadline. It may just be 10-day contracts. That's what I thought they'd probably end up doing, just signing 10-day contracts and cycling through to see if anybody has anything that can stick. Maybe they sign somebody for the rest of the year, but at this point in the season, nobody who's still out there is worth signing. The only one who's maybe worth signing is Patrick Beverley, but the Jazz can't sign Patrick Beverley.
You can't, right. You already traded him away.
So that's all you got.
All right, let's do this. Let's get into the 6 things we think might happen this weekend. We call it Pick 6. Always invite you to play along as well. Shout it out at your radio how you would vote on our various lines.
Also tweet at us.
Yeah, or send it into the text line as well.
I bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day. No way.
It's the Full Court Press Pick 6.
Ever since March Madness ended, I am so bored.
6 things we think will happen this weekend.
I don't know how the whole betting thing started, but it's fun.
All right, so I won last week, and I know you were a little rushed last time. So I will defer. I will give you the opportunity to get your lines in, because apparently I stole a bunch of yours.
You did. I decided to come up with some All-Star related ones. So I'm going to start with... it was tough to find a line for this because I ended up taking the Vegas line from last year's All-Star game because I couldn't find one for this All-Star game, at least not within fast enough time for me to want to look up even deeper. But I'll just go with the over-under on total points scored in the All-Star game. Over-under 324.5.
How many did you say?
324.5.
High scoring.
All-Star games are high scoring.
That's how it goes.
They get up there.
Wow. I'm going to take I'll take the over.
I'm going to take the over as well. On that note, Lauri Markkanen, points scored in the All-Star game. He's a starter. I'm going to set the line at 16.5.
16.5.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the under.
I'm going to take the over. Let me get him involved.
Okay.
All right, and then I'm going to go with the Utah State one. I had to choose between. I set 4 lines. I'm going to choose this one. Will Nevada have a 10-0 run, at least a 10-0 run, against Utah State on Saturday?
So it's just yes or no.
Yeah, yes or no.
So will Nevada have at least a 10-0 run?
Yeah, it has to be them scoring at least 10 straight points to 0 points for the Aggies. Not 10-1. If it's 12-0, that means they got it.
Right.
But
I'm going to say yes.
I'm going to say no.
Okay. All right, you took one of mine, so I'm having to adjust on the fly
Was
here.
it the Markkanen one?
Yes, it was Markkanen.
That's why I made a backup, because I thought you might do that one, but since I went first.
Yes. All right, so for me, USU three-pointers made versus Nevada. We're highlighting J.C. Carroll on Saturday. It's a three-point specialist. So USU three-pointers made versus Nevada, setting the line at 10.5.
I'm going to go under.
I'm going to take the over. Okay, Walker Kessler. He's in the Rising Stars Challenge. Walker Kessler blocks in the Rising Stars Challenge, 1.5.
I'm going to go under.
I'm going to take the over. I mean, normally you don't do blocks in these all-star events, but for the young guys, they're still trying to show out a little bit.
Yeah, they are. They're showing out a little bit more, but still, it's...
It's not very kosher to do it.
It's not. Like, you'd have to block a layup. He's not going to go up there and block somebody's dunk, because that's like... That might start a fight with how people treat the all-star games.
And then final line for me, Taylor Funk. He's been a little bit up and down, but I'm setting his line, his overall points versus Nevada on Saturday at 12.5.
I'm going to take the under.
I will take the over. And then for the tiebreaker, Nevada offensive rebounds on Saturday at USU, setting the line at 10.5.
I don't know how good Nevada is at offensive rebounds. I'll take the over.
I will take the... Shoot, I'll have to take the under then.
It's the tiebreaker. You have to take the other one.
All right, that's our pick 6. The 6 things we think might happen this weekend. Another quick timeout before some final thoughts.
What's more important than sleep? Granted, some things are, but not many. This is Ryan at My Mattress, and here we offer the best solution to better sleep, a better mattress. IntelliBed, the gel mattress, cradles your hips and shoulders while providing the best back support possible. Or come in and choose a Tempur-Pedic that boasts 93% of their owners love their bed. My Mattress, offering the best sleep possible by the South Walmart.
We're heading into some crazy weather this winter, which means power outages. Tyler and his team at Golden Spike Electric can install a Generac automatic standby generator for your home so you can avoid issues when the power goes out. If you have one already, Golden Spike Electric can maintain your Generac automatic standby generator for you. Find them online at gsegenerators.com or call 435-257-3016. Golden Spike Electric and Generac automatic standby generators. Power you can count on.
Experience Sunday brunch at Prodigy Brewing on Center Street. Churro French toast, beignets and berries, and everyone's favorite chilaquiles. A delicious combination of eggs, house-made enchilada sauce, tortilla chips, avocado, and pico. Brunch has an all-new meaning of tasty when you visit Prodigy Brewing. Served Sundays 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., Prodigy's atmosphere is vibrant, energetic, and friendly. Whether it's with family or friends, Sunday brunch at Prodigy Brewing is a delicious experience. Prodigy Brewing, exceptional food, extraordinary service, and family-friendly on Center Street in downtown Logan.
Bull Moose RV has moved to a new location with a huge indoor shop and the ability to work on several motorhomes and RVs at the same time. They hope to earn your business with amazing service. Bull Moose RV can service your RVs, and now is the best time to get that done before the spring rush. They also have several used RVs for sale. Head in and get a great price on a gently used RV. Find them at 1850 North, 600 West, or online at bullmooseRV.com.
It doesn't matter who you root for. The Full Court Press has all the high school sports covered. The Full Court Press. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and online at 1069thefan.com.
Tomorrow, check check out our website. We'll certainly share our own links on social media, but we're going to have a special Light the A podcast that will highlight and give more background to those other jerseys that you see hanging in the rafters in the Spectrum. We have our own resident historian and #1 Aggie fan, Al Lewis, who was kind enough to share some of his memories about these players, who they were, what they did, and what they meant for Utah State. And Jason and I able to kind of weave in and out of those stories with some background. So watch for that. That's going to be really fun. I have not heard the finished product, so I'm really interested to see how it turns out.
Yeah, I know. I've heard most of it, but yeah, I had half mine to just publish the Al Lewis because it was just kind of fun, but it was a bit informal, and so it didn't work as well as a podcast. But it was really fun for me to be able to do that. And now stitching it together, I think it'll be a fun product.
So watch for that on our website, 1069thefan.com, and gear up for a very, very special night in the Spectrum on Saturday. Until then, we'll see you tomorrow.